Teachers at Belvedere Elementary School in Falls Church, Virginia, have implemented artful thinking routines with their students over the last few years. Thinking routines have become an intrinsic part of classroom culture. In this lesson, Miss Heath leads her fifth grade students in looking closely at reproductions of 3 paintings by Georgia O'Keeffe, which are part of the Jack in the Pulpit series. She invites students in her science class to think like artists and scientists, using the parts, purposes, complexities routine to uncover the complexity of a flower and understand systems in the natural world.
Today we're going to be looking through the lens of an artist and a scientist. While we do this, we're going to do the same thinking routine that we've done before in science. That's going to be parts, purposes, complexities. As we're looking at these pieces of art, I'm going to give you one moment on your own to look at it. Look deeply, look at everything that you see. You have 3 pictures in front of you. The middle picture, I want you to flip that one over. I'm going to give you a moment to think on your own and to start labeling parts on your graphic organizer. Okay, now I want you to take 2 minutes to discuss with your partner what are the parts that you noticed as an artist.
I don't know.
I see the highlights. Cause like I see they put highlights here. Like it's light and then it's like dark.
We used to this down to light. Looks like a rose or a tulip. Oh yeah, it might be a rose or a tulip.
Who wants to share out what you and your partner discussed about the parts with an artistic lens? Angelina.
I saw like purple, like a very dark kind of purple on it, and like green around it. So me and Carlos, I think we were thinking like it's probably a type of flower, but like on the inside when we look at it, it has like petals, like curvy petals.
Me and Angel and Heidi, we all thought that like it's gonna open, like bloom.
Me and Amir noticed that there was really a lot of curvy lines and no straight lines, and also that there was a red line through the middle.
We're going to move on to the next 2 images, and we're going to do the same exact thing. Now you should have 3 images flipped over. I want you to look at all 3 and take a moment on your own to start labeling more parts that you find. Okay, go ahead and start discussing the different parts that you noticed as an artist.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And then it also kind of looks like a doorway. Yeah, it looks like a door. And then this one, I was thinking it kind of looks like a cabbage with the way that the leaves look. It makes it look more like a cabbage than anything else.
It looks like a flower, but like opening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, it kind of looks like the inside of a flower.
So what are the different parts now that you're noticing that you see the other pictures and all these images together?
This looks like a little stick or something, like a Q-tip. You know how like those Q-tips? Mm-hmm. Like they zoomed in and they zoomed out. Like this one is like the first one, second, and then this is the third.
I don't know. I probably turned it around, right? Angelina did it too, and it looks like a pathway or like a hole or something inside. And it might connect, it all might connect together.
So they're all different parts connecting together.
These 2 match together, like they went in, but like I just had like a different idea. Like this, like they just like blended the colors into here.
So you're saying that these 2 images, the all the way zoomed out and the all the way zoomed in, are blended to make the middle picture?
Yes.
I think that this is like a flower, a leaf, because it has veins like a flower, where the where water comes in, and it eats like water.
So are you talking about when we talked about vascular plants?
Mm-hmm. Vascular.
And it had the veins and the tubes to pull up the water?
Mm-hmm.
So you think this is a vascular plant?
Yeah.
So like right here, this might be the stem, like where the pollen.
Oh, so where we keep all the pollen?
Yeah,
in the middle?
Yeah, like these roots carry the water.
Mm-hmm.
And like because this is purple, maybe the light shines
in the water to change it.
Okay. Now what we're going to get into is the purposes. So you're just going to do your first box. So that's going to be this picture. What are the purposes of all the parts you labeled for this picture? So like if you had colors, what do you think the colors are for? Why did the artist include those colors? What's the purpose of those colors? Go ahead. So now we're looking at the purposes.
I think the purposes of like those dark colors are like to make it dark, mysterious and stuff.
Okay, what about the contrast between the darks and the lights?
I think it's supposed to show like the light, the sun coming in, because flowers, they need light to like grow. So maybe it's like the light coming onto the flowers, which is making maybe those cracks in the big flower.
Okay. What about the lines? What about the curvy lines? Why would an artist add the curvy lines? Angelina.
I think they added the curvy lines to make it look more detailed, to tell more of what it could look like in a way.
I think that like if the three pictures were doing like a cycle, and then the artist showed green so it could represent a plant. I think the cycle that it's creating, it's like it's showing it grow, and it's like it could happen again.
In the first picture, there's this white line. It's probably a straw because some plants like fall down like when they're growing, like they fall because of the weight. So people put a straw inside so they could grow.
The purpose of the color is maybe because to protect the flower from the light, because maybe the flower grows in the dark.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Like mushrooms in the night, they grow in the night.
Okay, now I'm going to give you a scientific drawing. And I want you to use the scientific parts. You can use these two boxes on the bottom. And take a minute to look at it and start labeling more as a scientist. So we're switching our lens. We're using our scientific knowledge about flowers. What do you see as a scientist? I'm also giving you some facts about the flower.
It goes here and it goes right inside the root. Like it's making a little tunnel. So the root has a tunnel into this root right here.
As a scientist, what are you noticing? What are the parts that you're noticing as a scientist?
I see that the scientists put labels on the flowers because to help people understand what name is it each one. And I saw it says female and male.
So maybe the female and male parts work together
Yeah.
in order to create the flower? Okay.
When it rains, like the leaves help it go inside the root like a tunnel to make the water go inside, and then goes and like in the root there here. These leaves are trying to protect this one because it's protecting the pollen.
Just so I can understand, I'm clear. You're saying that these leaves right here are to protect the spathe, right? And you're saying the spathe is to protect the spadix
In order to keep it alive.
in order to keep it alive. Now, I want you to look at all of the parts that you labeled as a scientist and what are their purposes. What's the purpose of each part? How does it work? Why does it need to be there? So I've listed all the parts that we talked about. Now I want to go one by one. What's the purpose of each one really quick? I want to talk about the spadix because that seems really important. What's the purpose of the spadix?
To spread tiny flowers,
And what is that?
like pollen.
Pollen. So it has the pollen on it. How does it spread the pollen though?
The wind blows it and then the pollen flies out.
The wind can take it. And then Jonathan, I also heard you say something about the spadix earlier. Can you add on to what Kendrick just said?
It attracts pollinator insects. When bees go eat it, the pollen might stick to them. And
pollen sticks to
then
their body.
it can spread to other leaves that have pollens, and then it'll like make more pollen, and it just spreads it out.
And they spread it out, so the insects spread it out?
Yeah.
What's the purpose of the spathe, do you think?
I think the purpose of the space is to protect the flowers or the buds, and it also turns the flower into a purplish or reddish color.
Now that we've looked at this as also an artist and a scientist, I wanted you to see how they can actually work together to inform each other, right? So we notice things as an artist very quickly, the different colors, the vibrance, the contrast, but then when we put our scientist cap on, we notice the different pieces that this artist was actually really looking at, right? So like the spadix and the spathe, this artist really zoomed into it. This artist's name is Georgia O'Keeffe. Even as a child, she would draw flowers all the time. And she actually became an artist at the age of 12. Yeah. And she lived in upper state New York in Lake George. And around the lake, there's a lot of swampy and woods areas. And these flowers actually grow there. And it's a wildflower. And its name is Jack in the Pulpit. There's a quote that Georgia O'Keeffe said, "Still, in a way, nobody sees a flower really. It is so small, we haven't time, and to see takes time. Like to have friends takes time." What do you think she means by that? Alexa.
It's like when a flower grows, it takes time to grow. It doesn't just like grow like right away, like pop. It doesn't do that. It takes time.
The friendships, it doesn't grow so fast. It has to go time by time.
It takes time to gain each other's respect, right? Or your trust. So she's looking at nature and understanding it as a friendship. Now what I want to talk about really quick are the complexities. So we're thinking as an artist and as a scientist. How do these parts all work together to make it complex? So start with the artist part first. How do all those colors, the lines, the shapes, how does this make this painting complex?
Create the crumbliness of this and the straightness of this because she used her own unique way of making all those cracks and turns and shadowing.
Okay, what were some complexities that you found? So how do the parts and the purposes work together to make this flower complex? Rakeb.
The parts of the flower, since it grows to 3 feet, like it could protect itself from different things, maybe.
Okay, so the complexity of the flower is to make sure that it survives?
Yeah.
What me and Ben thought was if we didn't have any detail or color in this, it would just be like one purple blob. Like it won't show like what the real flower would look like.
So what you're saying as an artist, the reason why she included all of these lines and the waves and the pictures, right, or the colors, is because if we just had one big purple blob, then it wouldn't really look like what she was trying to make, like the Jack in the Pulpit.
Yeah, it wouldn't look anything like that.
It wouldn't resemble it to you.
It's like a system.
It is like a system.
But it sticks dysfunctional without the space covering it. It might go all around the place, and then if somebody comes to that forest and try to get it, it might it's not good for them to get a lot in their nose.
Okay, so I went ahead and charted the different things that I heard from the class. I had heard Alexa over here say the complexities are to make the art more realistic, creating the lines and the colors and the different contrasts that it had. Also, I heard Jonathan say it needed all the pieces, if we're thinking like a scientist, to help it survive, because all the parts and the purposes need to work together. And then finally, I heard Michaela over here mention it's to make the art more beautiful. So to add those really dark purples and the light greens together with the white and the red, and makes it more beautiful. So these are the complexities that we found.
We just saw students use their prior knowledge and a scientific diagram to deepen their understanding of the parts and purposes of a flower and the Jack in the Pulpit paintings by O'Keeffe. In the next video, you'll see students demonstrate remarkable engagement as both artists and scientists, examining a real flower while sketching its parts